All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. I want to get you the market update. I'm going to go through some national news as well as some local news in the Lehigh Valley. Let's get started. August, here we are. So, what's the number one question we get from buyers and sellers and what is on their mind right now? Home prices, inflation in general, what is going on in the market? Number one question by far. And not only we get from buyers, sellers, even agents when they're trying to navigate this crazy, crazy market that we're in. But hey, we're here to give you expert advice on housing in general. So I wanted to show you this. The weekly mortgage rates, they continue to fluctuate. And I actually have another chart as well. But you can see here, they're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. I've had mortgage guys I met with last week as well as yesterday. And really, some people are getting quoted under 5% right now. Most people are in the mid fives, but yeah, you pay a point, you can actually get it under 5% right now. And I had this other chart that I actually saved here as well, just again to show you every single day from July, just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Today, it's a little bit higher. Doesn't mean that tomorrow it's going to be a little bit lower. You just never know when this thing is going to fluctuate. But as you see here, on average, it's floating anywhere between 4.99% and 5.5%. That, my friends, has been consistent really over the past month, where you can see here everything in really the mid fives, not really going above 6 again, but really hovering around that mid 5 range. So just to get you some updates, yes, mortgage rates continue to fluctuate right now. But the big news out there in every national news chain out there is about the recession, is what is happening in this country right now. And again, I've showed this to you guys before in previous market updates, but wanted to bring this back to light. A recession does not mean falling prices. And historically, we've only seen this really one time where prices dropped significantly after an official recession. So in 2008, prices went significantly down, almost 20% down within that year. One of the main reasons for that was actual inventory on the market. In 2008, inventory was at an all-time high. Lots and lots of homes on the market. So again, just being in a recession does not necessarily mean that house prices are falling. And I actually have other data to show you that it really hasn't. Another thing is that a recession does mean that interest rates typically will fall. A recession means that mortgage rates will continue to stay pretty steady and fall. And you guys have seen that from the Fed announcing that they've raised rates. They've done that several times. But you can see here, every time they do that, mortgage rates typically go down. And we've actually seen that in today. When the Fed raised the rates, they actually lowered it. The mortgage rates actually came down slightly. They actually came under 6% from a residential mortgage standard. So you can see here, just because it's an official recession doesn't always mean that prices are going down, that mortgage rates are going sky high. History shows us that that is just not the case. Here's another chart, or not chart, but a thing that shows you what this looks like. So why is the housing market won't crash? And that is a prediction I see right now. It is not going to crash. You're not going to see 20% downturn at all. And it's again, because what I said earlier, there's not enough homes for sale in the country, not only locally, which I'll get into, but in the country. You can see here back in 2007, 2008, 2009, when that Great Recession was before, inventory of homes, all-time high. Many, many homes on the market. Most of your homes in that market were on the market for 50, 60, 100 plus days. Average days, though, on the market was a little over 55, 56 days in the market back then, but you saw houses sometimes sit 100 plus days. Today, you can see, yes, last year we are at an all-time low in inventory, but really we're pretty much still hovering around pre-pandemic, if not less on average with home sales. So inventory is still very, very low historically. And then you can see here, this is actually building permits and new construction, what's going on. So you can see here, building permits have kind of leveled out heading into this quarter. So you can see here from June stats that came out, Housing starts, housing permits have really been flatlined. Not as many starts are happening. Builders just didn't know what was happening with the recession, with the cost of lumber, with the mortgage rates rising. They paused some of the things. They didn't want to overinflate this market with massive amounts of inventory. So this is what you can see here as far as housing units being started and permits being pulled. You can see more of a flatlining there. And you can still see here that lending standards are still under control. Again, back then, during that inflationary period of 2004, when things were booming, 2004 to 2007, a lot of that happened because lending standards were out of control. Anybody and everybody could get a mortgage. It was very, very easy. As you can see, since that crash of 2008, mortgage standards have really, lending standards, say, have really remained very, very strong, very in control. Mortgage lenders have really gotten that under control there. Another thing that shows back to us is foreclosure activity. As you know, prices have gone up quite significantly over the past couple of years, which means that many, many people have tremendous amount of equity in their home. So not only has the government paused some of the foreclosure stuff from 2020, but that's done with. And a lot of people still do have tremendous amount of equity, not just a little bit, but a lot of equity in their home, which then causes not a lot of distress in this market. You can see here that foreclosure activity is still really all-time low of what is going on right now. Now it's picking back up right now. You can still see here relatively very, very, very low of what is happening in the foreclosure world. Here is loans upon existing forbearance programs. As you can see here, very little. Actually, 1.2% of all the loans that are out there are short sales, deed in lieu, repayment plans that are having there. Most people have made their monthly payments during their forbearance period. Some actually paid it off. Some people deferred it. But many, many, many really very little are still in trouble. Only about 18.4% of the loans that are out there are truly still in trouble. So again, we're not going to see a big foreclosure boom. And you just have to go back to like that inventory chart. Even if all those properties were to hit the market all at one time, it still wouldn't create enough inventory for the market to really flip on its side right now. So yes, foreclosure activity across the United States continued its slow, steady climb back to pre-pandemic levels in the first half of 2022. Again, basically climbing back up. So you might see an uptick in foreclosures, but it's because the government actually paused them during that pandemic. And so, yes, as people are coming back out of that, it's really just going back to normal levels. And you can still hear that it's still running below historic averages. The dramatic increase in foreclosure starts suggests that we may be back to normal levels by sometime in early 2023. So you might really see, again, that actual foreclosure data level out in 2023. So yes, it looks like there's a big climb up, but it's just because it's getting back to normal levels right now as we speak. Monthly inventory of homes, you can still see here, anything that's below 6 months of inventory right now is still a seller's market, meaning that there's still more buyer demand than actual homes on the market. And in most markets, we are still seeing a very strong seller's market. There are other markets, though, that are starting to slow down, meaning that buyers have more power. Buyers are able to actually have home inspections again, put an offer in contingent upon them selling their house, actually do inspections, see the homes, not compete as much, and actually bid a little bit below list price. You're starting to see that come back into this market as inventory slowly creeps back up. So what's ahead for the second half of 2022? We'll break that down for you here. There could be a potential, and I just want to read this quote, there could be a potential silver lining for the market as stabilizing mortgage rates and rising inventory may bring some buyers back to the market during the second half of the year. That's been the biggest struggle right now with home sellers, is that buyers have been so confused with the fluctuation of interest rates. Are they up? Are they down? Groceries have been an all-time high for them. all of their daily living expenses have gone up. So yes, buyer affordability has significantly gone down, as it is more expensive to just live your day-to-day life. But as things start to stabilize, as people are putting more and more homes on the market, as inventory is going up and the buyers have more choices, it is easier for them to get back into this market and feel comfortable with getting back into this market. Now, here's the crazy thing. We talked about all of that, but yet all of these 7 forecasts, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, NAR, Zelman, CoreLogic, MBA, they're all still predicting home price forecasts for 2022 to still end up on average 10% higher than last year, meaning that prices are still continuing to go up in most of the markets around the country. So I don't think a national housing prices will decline in a meaningful way, but there will be some prices decline across the country. And we've seen that. So in my local market in the Lehigh Valley, the Lehigh Valley is still a very strong market. I'm going to get into that, of what the prices are doing. But at the same time, in the Pocono market is starting to slow down a little bit. We see a lot more price adjustments. Now, existing home sales, this is, you can see this clear as day, is that this is the prediction really going into the rest of the year. We will probably end the year with 5.1 million home sales across the country. It will be a little bit lower than pre-pandemic and also 2017, 18, 19. But you can see here, yes, home sales have basically gone back to what they have been historically over the last several years, minus 2021 when we saw a huge uptick of home demand. So why would you buy a home in today's market with all of the uncertainty, with all of the confusion out there? Well, hopefully a lot of this cleared that up for you, but you have to realize that there are fewer multiple offer scenarios. On average, people are seeing less and less offers on their home. They're still getting multiple offers, but it's less competition out there right now from other home buyers. You can see here that over asking price, they're still getting over asking price for a lot of their homes. But again, the competition is starting to slow down there. And you see the supply of homes is growing, meaning that you as a buyer will have more inventory to choose from, where you don't feel rushed right away into that decision of making that happen. You actually have something to compare it to. So let me go over your Lehigh Valley numbers, because a lot of this will start to see this. So percentage of list price received here, you can see has started to go down, but it is still on average higher than list price. So you can see here in June, it was at 103, 104, 103 from really the last several months, way above over asking price. Yet July, 102.6. So guess what, guys? They're still getting over asking price offers. So in 2021, you can see here in July, the average number was 102.5. We're right at that number, 102.6 in 2022. So we're basically at last year's level as far as percentage of list price received, still above asking price. All of 2022 on average is a little bit higher than 2021. Again, you see things because it's coming down, but again, we are still very strong seller's market, because on average, everybody's getting over asking price. It doesn't, and what that tells me in this market today, when you go to list your home, you're not going to be listing it for X amount of dollars, even higher than what the market demands right now. Because yes, your home will sit, because as the demand starts to go up, but the inventory starts to go up, yes, the buyers won't pay as much for your home. So yes, you cannot just like go crazy with your list price, out of sorts, all of that. You can still see here though, price is still above that. Average sales price up, way up from last year, 13.8% from this time last year, just in last year, of what that looks like year to date, 14.2% compared to last year's. So yes, the Lehigh Valley, strong market above expectations. National, as you remember, was a little over 10%. Right now, year to date, 14.2%. You can see here, even July 2022 hit another record high, $352,000 on average sales price in this market. So you can see here, prices in the Lehigh Valley are continuing to climb just a little bit. Days on market, still hovering around 13 days on market. So again, hasn't changed much in the Lehigh Valley. Homes are still moving pretty darn quick on that data. Inventory of homes available, you can start to see here that it's starting to creep up. So we're not above that 1,000 where we were last year. So as you can see here, still we are down in inventory, still at record lows. This is the historical data down here, so still way record lows. You can still see here, it's actually starting to level out. So even though we're out of those days of like in February where we had 487 homes on the market, we've doubled that to 826. So yes, it feels like there's a lot more homes on the market because yes, there is compared to a few months ago, but at the same time, historically, we are still very, very low. And you can actually see this between June and July, 820 versus 826. It's starting to plateau out there. And going into this fall season, we most likely will actually see that number dip back down as inventory will start to go down in our winter time here in the Valley. And again, historic inventory of homes month by month, you can see here, same exact kind of chart that we saw previously here. I won't get into the months of inventory, but same exact thing. Still very, very, very low of that. So how is this market? In short, complicated, but hopefully a lot of this helps you out with that. And one thing I do want to leave you with is this, is the showing time report of showings in and around really the state of Pennsylvania. What is going on here? So I wanted to show you this chart because it clearly tells me something. As we go into our fall season, let me zoom in. As we go into our fall season, this orange line, is the actual 2022 weekly average of home showings. And you can see here, it's been pretty flat, but 2021 was as well. 2021, though, you saw a dip there. As you can see here, 2022 is not having that immediate dip. And then again, if you've been following our market updates, you understand these other dips are during the holidays. So like 4th of July, right here is going to be Labor Day. You always have a dip at holidays. Again, people, yes, during holidays, here's the Memorial Day one. Here is the 4th of July. Here is Labor Day. Here's going to be Thanksgiving time. And then all the way over here is usually your Christmas and all of your different holidays around that time. So remember, guys, those big dips still happen around those holiday season. So yes, our next one is going to be that Labor Day, and you're going to see a smaller dip. But as you see here, once school starts, and again, Pennsylvania, I know different parts of the country, school's already started, but in Pennsylvania, school starts right before Labor Day, but then people have Labor Day. And then afterwards, there's usually a big impact of showings. So if you are waiting to list your home on the market, you have to realize that you don't want to wait. You want to get your house on the market right now. So if you are in the market to sell your home, get your home on the market very soon because you do not want to miss this huge spike up in buyer activity right after Labor Day. It happens every single year. This orange thing is going to show the exact same thing. It always happens. You're going to get a spike here. And then, yes, over the next 2 months, you're going to have very steady showings. Then when it starts to get into October and then into November, you will start to see declines in showings all the way through the winter months. So I don't want you guys to miss out on that activity that you see during this time. Get your home on the market for Labor Day because right after Labor Day, there's a huge spike. It always happens around this time. There's a big spike going on. And then you have this big selling period between the middle of September all the way through November. And once November, December hits, yes, it's more of a struggle. Buyers aren't as in demand during those times, and then you don't get that back until you hit that spring market. So that early spring market, I should say. So get your homes on the market. If you have any interest in selling, reach out to the person that sent you this video. Hopefully this data really helped you make some decisions, but it's real. This stuff is out there, and hopefully I helped you guys make some decisions, as this can be a complicated market to navigate. So again, whoever sent you this video, reach out to them, have them talk to you about what the market is doing in your specific neighborhood, because everything is neighborhood by neighborhood. So I'll catch you guys next month for our next market update. Thanks, everybody.